This is Inspired Wellness with Jessica, your new go-to podcast for mind, body, and emotional wellness. Tune in to hear real, raw conversations about stress, anxiety, and holistic self-care. I am your podcast host. My name is Jessica. I am from Inspired Life Collective. I'm an advanced EFT practitioner, meditation therapist, and holistic life coach. And I am on a mission to educate you on how to release stress from your body and, dare I say, even prevent it, and inspire you to live life with a calm body, a clear mind, and thriving emotionally. If you are ready to support your long-term health and wellness, then let's jump straight into the episode. Welcome to episode 5 of Inspired Wellness with Jessica. Today, I want to talk to you guys about my top 5 must daily do's for supporting and living with an anxious mind and an anxious body. Now, I don't know if you have been through any kind of work to really determine, exactly where your anxiety is coming from. And by that, I mean what neuropathway it's being formed in. Are you more of a thought-based anxiety person, or are you experiencing an amygdala-based anxiety? Now, I do recommend, before you find the support tools that are really going to work with you and for you to support your specific anxiety, figuring this out. And the way you can do that is you can go to my website, inspiredlifecollective.com.au. I will put a link in the show notes. And you can take the Understanding Anxiety Masterclass. And that is going to teach you the difference between the two types of anxiety. And it is also going to help you to then determine and identify what anxiety you primarily experience. And you might be experiencing a combination of both. But the thing is, if you are experiencing amygdala-based anxiety, where, your fight or flight response is involved, and that always happens when you are experiencing any kind of physical sensations, or you are having some kind of panic attack or some kind of overreaction of your nervous system. If you are having those kinds of reactions and you are only implementing thought-based strategies for anxiety, if you are only doing the cognitive things and you are ignoring your body, you are not going to get relief. So that work is really important. So here, what I have done today is, because for a lot of us, we will experience a combination of anxious mind and anxious body. And again, after you've done this masterclass, you will understand a lot more about what that actually means. But what I wanted to do today is I wanted to share, as I said, my top 5 must daily do's. And this is to support both an anxious mind and an anxious body. And as we have learned, as I've spoken about in previous episodes, and as I talk about all the time on social media, your thoughts will impact your emotions, which will impact your fight or flight response if you're long-term in a state of emotional dis-ease, of negative emotions coursing through. So if you are thinking, do you know what? I don't feel stressed right now, but all I do is, I experience worry-based anxiety, or I find myself overthinking, or I obsess over things that maybe have or haven't happened. If you believe that you are purely in your head, then go ahead with your thought-based strategies. But if those thoughts are causing you negative emotions, then you need to be bringing in the body as well when it comes to managing. Now, these strategies that I'm going to share with you are things that are going to support you to actually live a more calm life. So these techniques that I want to talk about today are my top 5 picks. And when you use them every day, to some extent, okay, 5 things might seem like a lot, but you could really do this routine in a really short period of time. And it doesn't all have to be in the morning, by the way. But when you are able to implement these things into your life, then you are able to also bring prevention. And there's many reasons why that will happen. But one of which is that when you are anxious, when you have your amygdala involved in that physical anxiety, in the panic attacks, in the physical stress response that comes from the thoughts that you are thinking as well, when you are having that involved, that is your sympathetic nervous system that is, in control. That's the dominant one. Now, all of these techniques that I'm going to talk you through today involve activating your parasympathetic nervous system to some degree, or to bringing relief to that stress response. And the reason that we want to be doing this is because the more you can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, from now I'm going to call the relaxation response, the more you can activate your relaxation response, the more it can begin to become the dominant one. And your stress response, your sympathetic nervous system, will begin to become not quite as sensitive as well. So this daily do's is something that could actually really potentially support you long term, as well as give you immediate benefit. And the very first thing on my daily do for an anxious an anxious mind and an anxious body list is EFT tapping. Now, if you don't know much about EFT tapping, again, you need to head to my website. I will link it in the show notes, and you can learn more about, what EFT actually is and how to do it. I do have a free download where you can download a little quick beginner's guide of how to use tapping. Now, EFT tapping is going to send a calming signal to your amygdala. So it is going to activate your relaxation response. So if you are able to incorporate some tapping into your day, whether it be if you want to use it as something, to combat your emotions with during the day, if you have a bad day, if something's happened, use tapping. Or if you consciously make an effort to say, righto, when I get up in the morning, I am going to say my affirmations. And whilst I do this, I'm going to tap. And that is going to help to calm your amygdala. Now, when you are speaking your affirmations and your body is calm, you are in a place to be able to bring in positive emotion with that affirmation, which means that affirmation is actually going to be quite powerful for you. So tapping during your morning routine or of an evening is going to bring in as I said, calm your amygdala. And it is also going to help you. So that's from a body perspective. And it is also going to help you release your anxious thoughts. And the reason that it does that is because when you are tapping, you are breaking the connection between the emotion that you are having and the thought that it's come from. Now, the thoughts that we give our attention to are the ones that we have our emotion behind. So if you can use tapping either in your morning routine or as a stress release in your evening routine, then you are going to benefit both mind and body and be assisting your amygdala. So if you are a worry-based anxiety person, if you find yourself constantly coming up with scenarios or worrying about things from the past or from the future, or whatever your situation is, if your anxiety is effectively coming from your head, then tapping is going to be really beneficial for that, because you're not going to be able, once you have the emotions that are attached to those thoughts released, then they're no longer going to affect you. So tapping is my number one. My number two that I recommend incorporating into your day or your routine at some point is either a breathing or a meditation. Now, I love meditation. I do a practice every day. It is short. Sometimes, depending on my children, it might be actually done in the shower, or it might be something that I do as a movement meditation. So a yoga practice or just a movement with music. So I do personally like to incorporate meditation, but I've listed this as a breathing or meditation because I understand that some people don't like to meditate. Some people don't understand the different styles and haven't found what's worked for them. And some people just genuinely don't have the time in their morning routine. Now, if you can breathe, okay, if you can get in a couple of minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing, then not only are you going to be again activating that relaxation response, but you are also going to be supporting your body's health functions as well. Because when you are taking those big, deep diaphragmatic breaths, your diaphragm is massaging the organs that are surrounding it as it expands, which allows for oxygenated blood to flow into those organs. It also allows for toxins to leave. And then as it compresses, then what's happening is, as it rises back up, then it's going to have that same effect on your heart as well. So it's going to gently massage your heart and allow for that to happen. So breathing, deep breathing, particularly to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your relaxation response, to put your body into a state of calm, is very effective as a combat tool for anxiety, thought-based or physical-based. Now, the next thing that I'd like to suggest in my must daily do's for an anxious mind or body is tension release. One of the very, very first signs of stress that shows in your body is through muscle tension. Now, you may think, okay, I'm anxious, I'm not stressed. But the thing is that your body is in some kind of state or stress when you are feeling anxious. Remember, we cannot have an anxiety response within the body without the stress response, the amygdala, being involved. So when you are beginning to feel stress, when your body is beginning to feel stress, one of the very first early warning signs of that is muscle tension. And this is going to be through your neck, your shoulders, your jaw, or perhaps across your forehead, or through some of those really fine muscles that run down the side of your head. Now, you can release these with things like a progressive muscle relaxation, and then you're going to get your meditation and your muscle release, your tension release happening all in one. Or you can, gentle massage. You can use a gua sha, which is that beautiful tool that's made of normally like a rose quartz or some sort of crystal, and use that, as something across your forehead. So I know for me, I find that a lot of my tension is kept in my forehead. And if I am consciously releasing that tension, then the other reason that is going to benefit me, not only because my muscles and my body is remembering what a state of relaxation feels like, but because our amygdala, which remember is your brain's fight or flight response, it is sensitive to muscle tension. So if it senses that there is a lot of muscle tension going on, then it is going to think that there is a reason and that there is, maybe danger or something to be extremely stressed and worked up about. And then you are likely to have more anxiety or panic. So as something that I honestly recommend doing every single day is muscle tension release. If you can fit this into your day in one way or another, whether it be through the gua sha, through a progressive muscle relaxation, through some stretching as well, some gentle stretching. Now, obviously, you've heard a lot of people talk about how movement is extremely effective as stress management and as anxiety management and prevention. And I'm here to tell you that number 4 on my list as my must daily do's for an anxious mind and an anxious body is to move your body. Now, whether you are combining your movement with your meditation and doing this through a yoga practice or a Tai Chi practice or something that is going to combine that breath and that movement, then that is going to, again, you're hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. You are getting your breathing, your meditation, and your movement. But the other reason, besides all of the chemical and hormone releases and things that happen when we do exercise, is that often when we are anxious, when we are, feeling a lot of anxiety within our body, we have excess amounts of cortisol and adrenaline. Now, excess adrenaline needs to be released. And if you are able to exercise or move your body through the movement of large muscle groups, then you are going to help this adrenaline to release. Now, this goes too if you are having a panic attack. Once you feel safe enough to get up and move around, if you can even just pace and get those large muscle groups moving, this is going to help shorten the life of your panic attack. So, movement as a preventative, as a daily management tool, and as a way to just feel amazing about yourself is highly recommended on my daily do's. Now, as I'm not a personal trainer or an aerobic instructor, I'm not going to go deeper into the other benefits of exercise, but I will see actually if I could get somebody on here over the next couple of weeks who might be able to do that for us, an expert in that field. The final recommendation that I have for your must daily do's for an anxious mind or body is journaling. Now, this is a hit and miss with a lot of people. Some people love it, some people cannot stand it, and that's okay. Everybody has a different learning style, and if you don't like to journal, then don't force yourself to do it by any means. But what I find, particularly if your mind is anxious, if you can even just do what I like to call a brain dump, where you just get your journal and you literally just get out everything that is in it. Remembering that your thoughts, when you give attention to them, will turn into emotion, which can then become stress or then activate anxiety. If you are able to get those thoughts onto paper and effectively release them from your head, then you are going to extremely benefit from feeling less anxious, particularly if you have a mind thought-based anxiety. This will also benefit a body-based anxiety because, as I said, once you are dealing with those thoughts, even if it is just dropping them onto paper, okay, even if you are not journaling through the whys or journaling out daily questions or journaling out gratitude, if you are, which honestly gratitude could be on this daily list as well. But if you honestly are just looking to just support your anxiety from a perspective of releasing those thoughts, then a brain dump is definitely more than enough. So those are my top 5 recommendations for my daily do's for an anxious mind and body. I hope you can see how these can impact both mind and body and emotions to really support you from a holistic perspective when it comes to anxiety. Now, I might turn this into a PDF for you guys if you want. Then you can actually go and download it and have it present and refer back to it anytime that you want to. So I'm going to do that. And if you are on my email list, then I will let you know when that PDF is ready for you. Now, if you feel like you need to be doing these things but have no idea where to start, then I do invite you to join the waitlist for Thrive. I will also link that. Thrive has just closed its doors for February, and we will be welcoming in new members in May. But if you are on the wait list, then you will know when that's happening and you can make sure that you don't miss out. Thrive will take you through all of these tools plus so many more. If anxiety is something that you are struggling with and you really would like to feel better now, then please reach out to me for a free discovery call. We'll have a 20-minute or 30-minute chat about what is going on for you and how sessions with me and my anxiety release program may be able to actually assist that for you and help you to feel better. I know that anxiety can completely control your life, and I know how debilitating it can be. I just truly, truly believe that anybody who chooses to overcome that can overcome it. And even though, yes, there are things that are going on inside your brain, even though, yes, there are hormones and things that are at play, when we can combine mind and body techniques and we can bring the body back into a state of calm and we can shut off that stress response, that anxiety response, then we have a really, really, really good chance of being able to do that. Now, if you have any questions at all from today's episode, please reach out to me. All of my contact details are in the show notes, or of course, you can book in for the discovery call. I hope that this was helpful and that you guys have some ideas now of what you might try and incorporate into your daily routine. I will do a whole another episode talking about how to incorporate these things into your daily routine, because I know that you might be sitting there thinking, adding 5 things into my morning or my evening is too much. And that's fair enough. But it is possible, particularly if you want the results that it comes with. And a lot of the time, we don't realize that we don't need a dedicated meditation space, or we don't need, uninterrupted, dedicated time to be able to do a lot of these things. We can make it work within the time that we have. So I will, as I said, do a whole another episode on that. So please stay tuned, and I will see you guys next week. You've been listening to Inspired Wellness with Jessica. If you loved what you heard today, make sure you subscribe to this podcast and leave a review. If you know someone who would love to hear all about this topic, make sure you share this episode on your socials and tag me at inspiredlife.byjessicaann. You can get in touch with me through my website www.inspiredlifecollective.com.au. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.